Can crabs roll over? Find out this week on The Hapless Heroes.
Is everyone here consent to being filmed?
I have a thin film all over me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hapless Heroes podcast. I am Francesco, and I am your host and DM tonight as we continue this wacky adventure in time. And before we get started on that, I'm going to do what we do every week. You know them, you love them. I'm going to introduce this wonderful cast. Starting on my virtual left, we have Dave as Zero, Valen's Avatar of War.
Good evening, everyone.
Mike is Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
Always at my service.
Nicole as Boris the Butcher.
Ooh, what pet am I going to buy now?
That's better. Zach as Pregnart.
I think that one frog was my dad.
And John as Lord Jha'rell the Light.
Stop that carriage!
Phil, aka Hedrick the Entertainer, is still not with us, but will be rejoining us next week. So let's get right back into things. Last week on the show, you guys, we were on day 2. Tonight, you're supposed to be meeting Filbert back at the Garden Inn, where you guys are, where you're lodged at, to come up with a plan of attack, what's going on with this whole convergence, and hopefully he'll fill you in on some more of the details of what he was already planning on doing before you interjected or intervened. But before that, you were in search of a hamster because you're determined to perform a hamstorcism before the night is done, and you explored a very interesting exotic pet shop in search of Nate, the hotel employee that is missing, as well as the hamster itself riding a unicycle with a little tiny hat, whistling a jaunty tune. The shopkeep, who I don't think we ever named, but whatever, if he becomes relevant again, we'll give him a name, was very fascinated with Pregnart, but ultimately, after some asking and some direct questioning, he pointed you in the direction of a man he knows who could probably find any sort of strange and exotic creature, and it was a man named Volo who was visiting town and is actually leaving town right fucking now. And you seem to have your paths seem to be crossing with a particular individual who may fit this description, as your carriage is now arriving in the 7th Ward where he was staying, and you're seeing him now on already boarded a carriage that is bound for leaving Uhl. And that's where we left off.
So compulsively writing this book that he is writing while in the act of getting on the carriage.
Yes, well, I did mention that the book was it's a gigantic book strapped to his back. He's not currently in the act of writing.
Okay, yes, it sounded from the description after that like he was still writing. Sorry.
Oh no, but the shopkeeper did explain to you that he was working on some kind of new book. And that's where we left off. So we're back in the streets. You see your carriage is pulling up, and his carriage is pulling away. What do you do?
Jha'rell will hop off of our carriage and try to stop the other carriage, saying, "Wait! This, again, hopping off ours depends on where exactly in our path crossing I was able.
It's not too far. It's not too far. Like if you gave it a good jog, you might be able to catch up with it before it really gets.
Oh, okay,
speed.
yeah.
Because these are still city streets, so it's like this thing is like tearing off, right? Like it's moving at a good clop, but not anything like too fast. Yes, I made up a unit of speed measurement called the clop. What are you going to do about it, Zach?
I'm loving it because it's kind of like a mix between like it's moving at a clip and you clocked it at whatever speed, but it's also drawn by horses, so it's a wonderful little portmanteau that is fitting and punny.
You're welcome, English language.
Love it.
How many clops per hour is the speed limit in Uhl?
That's a very good question. You don't really see any signs posted up about it.
Jha'rell will kind of like rap on the side of the carriage and try to make his way up to the front to the driver, yelling, "Stop the carriage, please, stop."
Excuse me. I mean, he kind of, you see him like, whoa, and like slow the horses down. And the man in the back is just like, now what is the meaning of this? We have somewhere to be. I'm already late.
Sorry to interrupt. Are you the man known as Volo?
Ah, yes. I am. Volothamp Gidarm at your service.
I only require a moment of your time. Sorry to delay you. Did you happen to point in the direction a young man named Nate, a bellhop for the Garden Hotel, in search of a hamster riding a unicycle?
Oh, yes. What a magnificent creature it was, truly. They got some time. He sought me out sometime last night. I don't remember what time. Had quite a few drinks with some of the local wizards. You see, I'm writing a book, and I was trying to. Well, I needed to pick the brains of some of the greatest minds in Telduria about certain details that I'm missing. I find it's always best to write books in collaboration with some great wizards. They just a wealth of knowledge.
Of course. And where you provided Nate.
Oh,
with
yes.
this
So I came across this hamster in my travels. Such an interesting creature. I've been using it sort of as a muse for my writings over the course of the last few months. We've been traveling together, and he's been performing and singing, and it's just been so lovely. However, when I heard the request of this young man and how specific it was, and I happened to have just the thing that he was looking for, well, me and Mauricio had to part ways after all this time together, and I felt that it just felt like it was serendipitous, as if like it was meant to happen this way. But yes, I sent him off with Mauricio last night.
Jha'rell's confused.
Mauricio?
Right, because of the name.
Oh, the hamster, of course. It's just what I've taken to calling him.
He told me his name was Balathor. A really good guy.
You've met this hamster?
Yeah.
And Balathor doesn't sound like a name that is very familiar, nor a name that would be given to a hamster. That sounds more... if you're someone like me who's seen and heard from all manner of creatures across all the different realms, that sounds pretty demonic to me.
Yeah,
he
so
sounded like
you
a
might
good
want to
guy.
check. You might want to check your notes for all the time he's been with you. They may have been corrupted.
Oh, are you saying that there was a possession involved here?
Strongly suspect, yeah.
Oh, and after all this time, not even an inkling, not even a whiff of suspicion. I must... Oh, well, I must take a look right away. But I also must be going. I'm so sorry. I wish we could talk more, adventurers. Please, look for me on the shelves of your local bookstores in the coming years. Oh, sure, yes. Oh, my goodness me. If I wish I could just talk to you much longer. Oh, my God. I've never seen anyone like you before.
Here's my card. Anyway,
Do you offer him a sausage?
It's just a sausage.
no, it is a recipe card chicken
Oh,
noodle soup
right.
kind.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is so lovely. What a wonderful gift.
Did you teach the hamster to whistle, or did you teach it to unicycle, or did
No,
you
it was
give
actually
a little
already.
hat?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I came across this creature with a traveling band of performers in some small backwoods town on my way to Uul some months back. It was already performing and riding this unicycle and whistling a jaunty tune, and it had this cute little hat. And, well, I made them an offer they couldn't refuse. And when they heard about my magnificence and my legendary writing and all of the work that I've done describing all of the creatures that inhabit the realms that we are connected to in our lives, it's just, well, they couldn't say no. And I just feel my life was enriched these last few months having him by my side. But anyways, yes. So he was already performing at the time. It just seems you seem already familiar with this particular creature. Have you come across him in your travels before? Have you seen this group perform?
No, we saw the hamster last time. It was before the apocalypse, and we reset time.
Well, now you're just now.
We shouldn't take up any more of your time.
Never mind.
It's such a joke. It's very funny.
Horace is on the back of the truck, I'd like to note, not with everybody
truck?
else here. Or the wagon, the carriage.
Yeah.
Right.
In the area where the animals are.
There's just like a couple cages. There's like some exotic looking birds in there. Yeah.
Yeah, Horace is in there.
Okay. Yeah. What are you doing with in there? Like, what are you trying to do? I already see you trying to roll a die, and I don't know what you're trying to do yet.
I'm grabbing a cage.
You're grabbing a cage.
Yeah, I'm pocketing a cage.
Okay.
So I was rolling for sleight of hand.
Sure.
26.
Volo reaches out his hand and stops you from grabbing the cage. Little girl, there are many wonderful creatures in this realm that you can peruse. However, these are mine. And then for scientific purposes, they must remain with me.
Wow, I'm impressed you stopped me. You know what? That's fair. You can keep them.
Huh. It's who am I to stop a budding entrepreneur? However, I still have need for these creatures.
Zero butts in. They're safer with him anyway. He turns to Volo. You're probably leaving town for a reason. Ride safe, ride far.
Oh, yes. Well, I plan to go very far away very quickly. In fact, I'm very late. And, driver, we must be going.
Zero gives a knowing nod.
And, they just...
I just assume that Volo knows why he's getting out of here.
Maybe.
And if he doesn't, then he's no worse for it.
But, so the carriage continues going south and, heads for out of town.
All right. Well, my initial thought was that if we just waited at the hotel long enough, Nate would show up with the hamsters.
Possible.
That's really funny. Well, I mean, you got, I guess, as much information as you were going to get from Volo.
We didn't get when.
He said sometime
that's...
last night, and he said he, was kind of letting loose a little bit, so the details were a little fuzzy, it seemed.
Okay. Well then, I suppose it would be time to head back to the Garden Inn, no? A hotel. Can't remember if it's an inn or a hotel.
We'll just use it interchangeably.
Should we get a ride back?
Oh yeah, we did. I'll just leap off of our carriage.
And now we're going to be going in the opposite direction.
Oh, I assumed that we had hired a coach since we were going to specific places.
Oh yeah, we could just say that's happened. Just have one for the afternoon. You certainly have enough money to do that without really any issue. So there's not it's not even a question.
Yeah, Boris is just using her dice earnings to fund transport and things right now, since that money's going to disappear once we eat the goldfish anyway.
That's plenty, right? Okay, so back to the Garden Inn then. I mean, at this point, it's we're well into the afternoon. It seems that while you were gone, there were fresh towels brought up to your room. There seem to be like uneven piles, as it would appear maybe Hedrick at some point had come out and grabbed a couple for himself, but the bathroom door is still closed. And you could hear, some humming and singing happening in there. He seems to be, some sort of version of Rub-a-Dub-Dub, or Splish Splash, something like that. It's probably happening in there right now. Or whatever Hedrick's rendition of that is. He's going to listen to this and probably write a whole fucking song that is
yeah, probably. Knowing him.
Because that's just how he do. But yeah, so, Hedrick's still having his grand old time. There's some fresh towels waiting for you when you get back, but no hamster.
Has anyone seen Nate? Jha'rell will ask as we're kind of
No, we were
walking
hoping
in.
that you would have, learned some new information. We still haven't heard from him.
We did find out some, but we haven't found him yet.
Well, please do keep us posted. We did inform the local authorities; they're conducting a search as well. But we did mention that you were also conducting your own search, and they seemed satisfied with that for now. But thank you for looking at least, and yeah, please keep us posted if you learn anything about his whereabouts. We are all deeply concerned for him. He was one of our favorite employees and a good friend to a lot of us.
Once we're back in the room, Jha'rell would ask, is there any other way of locating? My concern would be that this hamster has taken to Nate as he did to Pregnant earlier, and is now controlling him to do his bidding. More
So
likely than... Yeah, he's likely to be at the ley line.
Coming at it from the other end. What was Balathor's exact request? It was where at the ley line?
To be thrown into the well.
He said, "Be my friend. You're really cool."
Did he say when?
I was gonna say, here's the thing, right? I don't think, and I don't want to I'm not trying to squash your fun or your planning, but I don't think at any point in time did Pregnard actually say to any of you that Balathor was asking him to throw him into the ley line. All we heard from Pregnard was, "Oh, Pregnard, you're really cool, and
I like you a lot."
Yeah, right. So, that it had ill intentions.
Right. I can't remember. It's hard to separate.
If my memory serves me right, which doesn't always, but if my memory serves me right, I do not think that information got parsed properly through Pregnard.
I can't remember, and probably not.
That is a really
Pregnard.
good point, and yeah, it probably didn't. So,
Again, not to spoil the fun or the potential planning here, because I think that no matter what, we're all roads are leading to the convergence here.
Oh no,
right?
These constraints make it more fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I should note, right, that this constraint is very much in play, and unless Pregnard is able to divulge more useful information to you, you're operating off of what he's already given you.
And we wouldn't even necessarily know to ask any more of it.
Yeah, we would of course innately doubt the story, but we wouldn't have any clue as to which direction it actually goes.
Yeah, listen, it's not like it's not worth, or it wouldn't occur to you to maybe try to press Pregnard to be like, what was it actually asking you to do, right? That is certainly a logical course of action here. It's just that, again, I'm going to be relying on Zach here as Pregnard to relay once more what its request was.
Right. Jha'rell will ask Pregnant, now I need you to think very hard. Was there anything else the demon inside of your hamster friend was mentioning outside of that he was very good and not bad and you were his friend?
He said I was cool.
Did he ask you to do anything or just be his friend?
He said, "Keep up the good work. I like your very real beard. That's not fake."
Friend, can I, just to keep this interesting, should I roll a history check?
Yes, please.
Or even an insight check.
What do you want?
I want history.
History?
Yes. Let's see what information you recalled that was actually important to you, Pregnart.
That's a 9.
That's a 9.
I'm going to use my judgment.
Something about throwing him somewhere. You remember he wanted you to like toss him. Maybe like he wanted to like play catch or something, right?
He
like
said that he wanted me to throw him up in the air so he could learn how to fly.
That makes no sense. Okay.
He said, throw me up in the air. No, wait. He said, throw me up in the air, Pregnant. It is fun for me. Wee.
I'll turn to 0. I'm not certain we're going to be able to get much more. My other concern, now this is John, not Jha'rell, was knowing that I don't believe Balathor specifically requested to be thrown in at the convergence, but I can't remember that. Like he could be tossed in at any moment.
No, he actually did. He did give specific instructions to Pregnart to do it that night.
Okay, all right.
You know, so like, you know, these things may or may not be all related to each other at this point. Like, it's hard to know because no one got to see what happened last time.
It turns out that we did actually stop the convergence the first time by doing the Hamstorcism, and like,
I have a feeling we
did. And now that we stopped the one, the other one's gonna screw it up.
Yep. Well, at this point now, so I suppose then, what do? Do we just wait for Filbert to come back and then go and just guard the convergence? I can't think of much more to do with the night.
Yeah, it's not like we have to worry about what we're doing tomorrow.
Right. And we can fast forward time a bit, right? It's just, you know, I mean, we can just kind of describe if there's any preparations any of you are choosing to make, I guess, between now and like, I think it was like 11 p.m. or something like that. You told Filbert to meet you here.
What time is it now?
It's like late afternoon.
Okay, so we don't really have time for a long rest, so I can't change up my spells.
Oh my god, this guy.
Well, no, just because if I want to change any spells, that's really all I can do is plan for a battle.
Hey, you had your opportunity that started this day.
And I did change them up at the beginning of the day, but I wasn't expecting it to get through the day so quickly.
It's almost as if that was the intention of how preparing spells works, so that, you know, you have to try to make like that sort of, I guess, assumption of what you might be dealing with on any given day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a bad spot.
No, but yeah, so I will say, yeah, probably not enough time for a long rest. So what you're walking in with is what you got. Short rest, 100%. I don't think there's really anything that needs to be recovered right now through a short rest, but it can absolutely be considered that at some point during these several hours, y'all have taken a short rest.
Boris also pops down to the bookstore, assuming that there's one in that little strip of, you know, stores that's down right by our hotel. Finds a book about crabs and spends like a good hour or two like reading about crab diets and.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Just
Educating
in case.
yourself on.
Just in case.
Just in case, you know, you do have to end up caring for and feeding
being
Hector.
optimistic for saving the world.
Yeah.
Taking a crabs course.
Get out.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyways, just cracking on here. Any other preparations anyone would like to make before we fast forward to nighttime?
I don't think so.
Okay. Just making sure. Just want to make sure I gave everybody an opportunity if there's any other preemptive actions they wanted to take before we reach the time where Filbert's supposed to meet you. So it's getting to be, it's late now. It's about, we'll say it's about 11:15 p.m. So it's 10:45. who was the one who initially? It would have been Boris. Boris.
Yes.
In your mind, you almost feel like something like tapping at the back of it, and you hear like the voice of Filbert saying, "Hey, I'm running into some issues leaving the house. Turns out my dad was not super thrilled that I just ran away from the hospital. So, I might be a little late, but I'm working on it. I think I have a way to get out. But just, I'm still coming." You can reply to this, by the way.
Did you need a hand? Boris says out loud.
There's a bit of a delay. And after about a minute, you get it back. Sorry, no, I think I got this. But just stay tuned. I might be a few minutes late. Then the message ends.
Okay.
You heard his voice in your mind. No one else heard it, so it's up to you if you choose to tell everybody else that.
We heard her say, "Do you need a hand?"
No, it's all mental reply.
No, I said that out loud.
She
you said it out loud.
I said that out loud.
Yeah. So okay. So you heard Boris asking if you needed a hand. I guess everyone looks up like, what?
Right. Like Jha'rell's like cleaning his armor. Like, no.
Boris is kind of like thinks for a second and is like, we may end up needing to rescue Filbert. He said he might just be a few minutes late, but if he's more than a few minutes late, we might want to go check what's going on. I might need Hector.
Just as a counterpoint, isn't he fine where he is? If he's there, he's not at the convergence.
This is also true.
Hmm.
It's a good thing that he's even reaching out to you.
Okay, so...
Yeah, okay. So what do we do if he doesn't show up at all? Do we just go?
I would say, knowing that it starts at 4 a.m., or around, it starts at around 3 or 4 a.m., I can't remember exactly. But it'd probably be best for us just to be there no matter what at that time, specifically. We can wait for him for a couple hours, though.
Boris goes back to reading about crabs. Crabitats, if you will.
I can't. I just can't. So I'm not going to even acknowledge it. We're just going to move on to
don't be a crustacean about it.
Oh, you bastard. So it's 11 o'clock now. Obviously, Filbert is not here yet. You can hear, like, some people out in the halls. It seems to be a little bit more busy at this time of the evening than usual. Some people seem to just be excitedly talking amongst themselves. Like, there seems to be a little bit more of a din coming from, like, the common areas of your lodgings. And even from the streets, there are some people starting to gather, just like looking up into the sky and, admiring the view. Not like a ton of people, I think there are some, like I think I mentioned, like some people are just kind of scared of this type of stuff. They find it unsettling, so like they're like all in their homes, not looking at the stuff. But there's some people enjoying the cosmic event that is occurring right now, or at least on its way to occurring.
Would you say they're crab-tivated?
I stopped narrating to let you say that. I saw you wanted to say something, so I'm like, yeah, okay. I'll take a break for a second. What is it you want to interject with? And you give me crab-tivated. This is what I'm working with, people.
I just feel like this is all going to shell.
Fran, it gives up.
The carcination of the Hapless Heroes podcast.
Listen, I think we just need to make sure that for the next episode, we have a clause that says that we can't do this anymore.
I don't know. I think this joke has legs. Are you trying to sidestep this issue?
Doing a horseshoe around it.
Oh no. Oh, we're done. This is it. Audience, for all of you audience members out there who were hoping to hear some action in this episode, I think that unfortunately we're lost. The rails have been demolished, and it's now just an episode about crab puns.
We're just raving about crabs.
Fran apparently has a really soft shell about this issue.
He sounds crabby.
I'm a little crabby.
It's all right. Our fans know that we're Krillians.
Yeah, they'll stick to us.
Just want to go bury my head in the sand.
That's an ostrich.
Crabs do it too.
I mean, they bury their whole selves in the sand.
Yes.
Speaking of things that have nothing to do with sand or crabs, though, it's, moving beyond 11 o'clock. You haven't heard anything yet from Filbert.
Well, we can wait a little bit longer. Remind me, what time did the actual conversion start?
I think it started happening between midnight and 3 a.m. and it was probably around 3 a.m. where it really reached
what was it, 2:30, 3 or 3:30? Either way, by 2 we need to be on our way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing to keep yourselves awake? And alert and ready to tackle the day? Anyone making tea, or is there any anything you guys? I mean, Zero doesn't really have this issue. As he does not need to sleep, right? But for those of you who obviously, have a sleep cycle that you have to adhere to at some point, how are you trying to make sure that you're staying with it and alert?
Pregnard accidentally fell asleep.
Boris is pacing because she is actually concerned about Filbert at this point. She has her little collection of orphans back home. He reminds her of her little gang of buddies, and she's a little worried, and you're seeing it a little bit in her just kind of darting back and forth and just being fidgety. So she's not too worried about sleeping anyway.
Well, Jha'rell will be meditating.
Mm-hmm. Quinn's just drinking heavily. I'm just kidding. Oh, really? Okay, I guess I was right. Yeah.
with his wine, he's a wino.
Yeah, this is the pregame for you. This is just, you're gearing yourself up for a wild night.
Well, I feel and it hasn't been canon, but I think I can make it. I know he's got his flask, but I feel like he has an ornate goblet as well. He's had to have procured that at some point. So he is certainly just partaking with any sort of local beverage that is around.
Boris saw that Quinn had pulled out his fancy goblet. She would have pulled a bag of wine out of her pocket for him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, God's wine.
Yep.
No, wait, but this is future wine, right? So this isn't. This is weird.
Can you de-age wine?
Right, that's what I mean. It's technically
aged.
Future wine.
The aged wine time traveled in my pocket, so if we didn't de-age by time traveling, then the wine should also be the same.
Sure, that's fair.
At the time it went back.
So it would be weird to be.
Nothing else in our possession fell apart except for the magic connection for Jha'rell.
I think Quinn would enjoy the fact that he's drinking a vintage that is from a year in the future. So it's just interesting to him, and it's very he feels very special by drinking it.
Mm-hmm. You're the only person in the world right now that has tasted this vintage.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good vintage.
Mm-hmm. Of course it is. Although I will say that Klingonen didn't really care too much about the wine that he had stored, right? If you remember, so it is kind of hit and miss depending on which bag she pulls out.
True wine is putrid anyway, so it is what it is.
Okay, it's now 11:30. Still no word. Still more, the same stuff, right? And then we reach midnight. Boris, you get a message again. Hey, so I think I have a window here. I'm gonna have to meet you like at the Tower Plaza. I may or may not have cracked one of my dad's teleportation circles. And I think the only place I can really send myself to is the ley line. So I'll meet you there.
Try not to do anything dangerous or be anywhere where it looks like you might be involved with a hamster riding a unicycle when you get there.
A what?
Just
never mind. Sure. I'll see you there.
Sounds good.
Silence.
We gotta go. Filbert's gonna be at the convergence before us, so the end of the world might happen. Boris leaps out the window, like Assassin's Creed again.
There is still that pile of hay right there. You did it before out of this very same window, so it's...
Jumps out, but then just waits for everybody else anyway.
Jha'rell picks up.
You just have to make a dramatic exit, yeah.
Yeah, Jha'rell picks up Pragnar and kind of like taps him awake as we're leaving the room.
I was having the most wonderful dream about my friend Balathor. He said I was really cool.
That's nice, Pregnant. It's time to go prevent the end of the world now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's go. Here we go.
Yep, so you begin to leave, and, you can see people gathered in the streets and like that. There's still, like, wagons operating. People are, like, trying to just, like, find cool places to, like, watch the celestial event that is...
Oh, good. The wagons are still going.
Yes.
That'll make it quicker to get there.
So you can hop on one and, head right for the Tower Plaza, of which you are not banned from. So when you get there, you can just walk in.
But of which has significantly fewer guards than they had last time.
Yes, in fact, you can actually see that there's a whole bunch of chairs and things like that, like temporary seating that's been set up here, almost like a spectator's gallery.
I feel like this is worse.
The seats actually recline so that you can look up into the sky and just like watch what's happening. And there's a bunch of people already gathered here, like, just, in anticipation, right? Not a lot of people are seated at this time. They're like kind of standing around their seats. It's almost like, like that time, like before like a play or like a performance, something like that. Like everyone's kind of congregated, kind of read about where they're going to sit or like around. They're just socializing and just waiting for like the main event. There's ushers and there's people like, who work for the tower who are, just kind of making sure that everything is civil, people aren't acting up, that this is a very well-to-do crowd here, though, right? So it's mostly like pinkies in the air type, like highbrow discussions happening here, This isn't some sort of like big block party or anything like that. But yeah, the beam of the ley line just, is just obviously exactly where it is, just, pointing ever, like it's almost infinitely up into the sky. And the moon is, on its way to, crossing through its stream. Or at least it's like, projected stream.
Jha'rell would like to do two things. How big is this area?
I mean, it's a very large plaza because you have to like this is all open area, and in this plaza you have the tower plus the ley line plus like smaller structures and buildings and like research, like maybe like other buildings that are part of the campus. The tower is the main building, but there's like probably some sort of supplementary buildings or ones that were built afterwards to house certain research development departments or other things. They're all just like private buildings all owned by the tower.
Jha'rell will turn to Zero. Zero, do you think I should search for the unicycle or the fez or the bellhop outfit? Just to make sure that none of those are here, which one do you think is most likely to be consistent, still on that person if they are here?
So I take it searching for Mauricio or Balithor directly is out.
That's got a smaller range on it.
When you say smaller, how much smaller?
About 940 feet. Smaller. And it only lasts for a little bit, whereas I can hold my concentration on looking for a specific object for a longer time. I could pace this entire courtyard consistently for 10 minutes.
What would be more likely to be there? I feel like the unicycle is least likely to still be there, as it's the most easily discarded. So it's a question, is Mauricio still wearing the fez? Or is Nate still in his work clothes?
Correct. Or is there anything else we could potentially try to find? I feel like those are the two most likely. Do hamster teeth count?
I'm going to say no. Also, I wouldn't say that you are intimately familiar with the teeth of this hamster.
Have any of us been bitten?
No, I mean, Held Monster was cast on it, so, you know, it was not really able to do a whole lot of the biting
right
during the Hamstorcism. But I appreciate the two different angles you guys are looking at here. I mean, you know, you just kind of have to pick one to start with. Is anyone else, I mean, like looking around, doing anything else? I mean, you know, like there's plenty of people around here. Like there's like, you know, there's activity, right? It's not just silent and like, you know, like there's people are chatting it up and, you know, just sort of having a grand old time.
While we're deciding what to look for, can we just like do a kind of general perception of the area to see if Nate is here, if Bird is here?
Love anyone who cares to be perceptive, please make me a perception check.
What? You mean we're gonna do this the old-fashioned way? And not spend 5 more minutes debating whether or not Nate would have gotten changed in the middle of a religious mania? Yeah.
Right.
23.
23 from Boris. 15. Yeah. Any no, 23 is the best we got around the group.
I actually got an 18 for Jha'rell, which is impressive.
Okay. Pregnard, did you care or no? No, I didn't think
I
so.
got a 5.
You know, Boris, this, you know, again, I described, you know, most of the crowd here as sort of a very well-to-do type of folk, people dressed very nicely. It's almost like, you know, this is sort of a formal event for them. They're all just sort of gathered, most of the intellectuals and rich people that live around here. But there's something that does stand out to you, and there's somebody who's sitting by themselves towards the front of like these rows of seats. They're dressed, you know, in like these like hooded robes, and they just kind of like are kind of keeping to themselves, and they just seem like you can see that they're like their foot is like tapping very anxiously.
Boris just nods in that direction and starts walking over, assuming at least part of her party will notice and follow suit.
Yeah, Jha'rell would follow.
Okay, so you get closer to this person, you know, wearing, you know, this hooded outfit. And you see that as you're gonna get a little closer, they kind of turn and like look over their shoulder, and like it's like you kind of see like they like jump slightly in their seat, and they just like kind of stand up and just start fast walking away from you.
Boris,
how close are we to them?
Like 50 feet, maybe.
Oh, good. Jha'rell would like to use Divine Sense before they get too far away.
Oh, okay. Yes. Alarm bells are ringing for you, Jha'rell.
Okay, what do I notice?
There is a fiend not very far from you. Oh, and actually, it's not. If you're not obstructed, I think you get the direction too, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Sense, type, and location.
Yeah, it's just pointing. I mean, it's like your radar is literally pointing directly at this person.
Okay. Jha'rell would try to use command in that I make them stop.
So you would like to cast a spell?
Yes.
That was a long delay there, my guy. So you, again, just confirming, you are choosing to cast a spell.
Yep.
Okay, so you issue the command, stop. They have to make a save, don't they?
Yes. I guess the DC is 17.
I got a 17.
Oh, God damn it. That one never works for me. I get lucky with some of the other ones.
So you say that, with this very powerful divine command. And yet the person, if anything, now starts running away from you. And they just start screaming like, help, this man is trying to influence my mind with magic. And now you see some of the people who have been looking at the crowd and trying to keep the peace around here, all eyes now turn to you, Jha'rell. The man who just yelled stop very loudly and intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Boris immediately enters into chase.
Okay, Boris.
I mean, he's still running, you said, right? So.
Yes. I would like for you to make me a dexterity saving throw. You're not too bad at those.
I am pretty good at those. 22.
22 is good enough. You kind of slip out of the grasp of somebody who tries to tackle you as you start taking off, but you see ahead of you the person that's running also gets tackled by somebody else. And you just hear now, stop! Halt! Another step and you are under arrest! Both of you!
Boris gracefully freezes in mid-step, mid-run somehow.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, the person who was tackled is not really having any trouble complying with that at this moment. But you can hear them yelling, no, let go of me! You don't understand! I can't! No, you have to let go of me right now! These people want to hurt me!
Am I able to recognize the person?
The voice does sound familiar.
But I don't see their face yet?
No, at this point, they probably would have pulled the hood back to make sure that they can actually see the person that they've, apprehended, and it is Nate. You can see, though, that where his hair used to be sort of this, dark brown, now almost has, gray streaks going through it that were certainly not there before.
Boris, to the people that just stopped me very quickly, is that man's about to try to end the world for a demon he's under the influence of. This sounds crazy, but don't let him go.
What? Okay, we need to clear. We need to clear all of you out. I'm sorry. We need that. This is not the space to deal with any of this. Please come with me.
Please watch for a hamster. You need to make sure the hamster does not get in the well.
Oh no, you're all coming with me too.
He's really nice.
You all seem to be involved. You're all coming with us.
This is fine. It's problem solved.
So they take all of you. Since you are going willingly, none of you are put in any restraints or anything like that. However, Nate is. And they
find the hamster.
They don't. They haven't really. It doesn't look like they've actually performed a deep search quite yet. But as you approach the steps of the tower that they're walking you towards, they do say, "Well, you are all obviously very well armed." And actually, hold on a second. Aren't you the dignitaries or the guests of Dr. Hines?
Yes. See, I am able to detect demons, And that hamster that man is in possession of is one. So you should make sure that hamster does not get in to that ley line during this convergence, or else all hell will break loose.
Again,
Quite literally.
Back up. You do not know that information.
Oh yeah.
I know that we don't want a demon hamster getting into the ley line.
I know
sure,
but
that for sure.
I mean, how would you know that? I mean, I guess that would be a bad thing potentially, but I mean, why would your brain automatically go there, right? Is sort of where I'm asking. I mean, I guess I could probably go there just because of what
separating.
Yeah,
but
I mean, Filbert had plans for the ley line too, so I guess it's not too hard to assume.
Yeah.
I'll give that to you. At this point. I'll give it to you.
Even without that, we can just bang on demonic possession, demonic possession, demonic possession. You're incapable of lying, and he's either influenced by or possessed by a demon.
They say, okay, well, just a moment, then we'll get to the bottom of this. And they, whip out a wand, and floof. They have this hamster that floats out of his pocket into the air. He's like, no. Nate is reaching out for the hamster at this point. No, you don't understand. He needs me. I'm on an important mission. He needs me to do something. So it's if we don't do this, we're all doomed. And the hamster is just kind of floating there. He's still got his little hat on. He's still riding a little unicycle, and he's just whistling a really pretty tune. Yeah. It looks, I mean, to the casual observer, just looks like quite an impressive hamster, but nothing more. And you're saying, and so the prefect who has come to you and says, "You mean to tell me that this creature right here is possessed by a demon?"
Are you able to tell?
We would need to do some further testing. I'm not well versed in the divine magics, but there are ways we can get to this information. Are you saying that you've confirmed this?
Yes.
Okay, well, would you happen to be practiced in performing exorcisms?
I am.
Well, it's our lucky day. Dr. Hines really does know some of the most interesting individuals.
Am I going to perform this hamstercism in front of everyone at this?
Do you need seclusion for any pre-ritualization?
Nope.
Were you given access key runes by any chance by Mildred Scootaboot?
Yes.
Or Professor Scootaboot. Oh, perfect. Just would you mind producing those for a moment? Just we need to make sure we get you access to some of the lower levels.
Jha'rell would quickly provide his.
Definitely.
Scootaboot is my best friend.
Boris, the one that you have is not yours. It's Richard's.
Oh yeah, no, Boris doesn't present hers. It's already got a good number of levels on it because of the laundry situation.
Now that's smart thinking. But yeah, so almost all of you produce your teleportation runes, and he waves his wand a little bit just to ensure that you have access to where you need to go. And they look at you. What about you, Miss?
Boris grabs Jha'rell's hand and says, "I'm just here with my dad. They didn't give me my own."
Very well. Yeah, you should be able to travel together. I'll make sure that that's set up for group travel.
Boris, would you like to wait for your friend? She had a plan to watch the convergence with her friend. Would that make things easier?
Yes, actually, I feel like an exorcism is probably not something that a child would really need to witness. Can be quite gruesome.
Scary.
We'll send one of our chaperones with her to make sure that she's taken care of while she waits for her friend. Would you mind just taking this young lady down to, just get her one of the reserved seats we have in the front for the academics? You can even just give her my seat for now, and just so that, so she can wait for her friend. Yes, of course. Come with me, miss. And this person, starts leading you outside back outside to the the seating area, the seating gallery.
I like that.
People are. Yeah, what's that?
So I like that worked in full armor.
I love it. Yeah,
it was
I love
super
it.
heady play.
Well, when you travel in the company of people like this, it would make sense for your father to like make sure that you're protected because, obviously everyone here is armed to the teeth.
Right.
She might be the most lethal one out of all of us.
and yet the most capable of being unassuming.
That's why.
Yeah. So they take you
coming.
They take you, the rest of you, to the teleportation circles, and we're going to let me make sure this is not a basement floor that I've already wrote something for. Perfect. We're going to be going to 4B. So just make sure set that in mind. I should be able to attune to all of us though and get us down there. Just a moment. And after a few seconds, you all appear in the fourth basement floor. This looks to be arranged a little bit differently than some of the more academic floors that you've traversed, right? Where like they were arranged in this massive circle, right? And like in the on all the sides there were classrooms, and like all the sizes and spaces were different. Here it's more just this is a large, open floor plan sort of basement with many different sort of sectioned off like rooms that have like I would say like 3/4 walls, like where there's like that little like almost like they're like air. There's like these little air gaps in them slightly. But like it's just this massive like stone like floor. It's filled with like all different manners of like there's like tables with different instruments and like alembics and like like glass instruments and wooden and metal like contraptions and all this stuff. Like this appears to be some sort of like research or experimental like type place. There's all kinds of stuff down here. There's a few people working in some of the sections. You can see that as you're walking around to some of these like little like walled off enclosures. There's like there's boards on them that have people like signed in or signed out, right? And like like when they checked in and if there's someone still present within there. They seem to be almost like private research booths for people. They take you to one that has just a gigantic altar on it. And various holy symbols from pretty much any good or neutral aligned god are present here. It's very rare that we have anyone, with true divine powers come through these halls. We don't really get along with the religious types, especially those from High Rock. We did hear, however, that you are representing High Rock, Sir Lord
Jha'rell.
Jha'rell, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Really need to do a better job of remembering the names of some of the visitors and distinguished guests we have here, so you'll please forgive my rudeness. But we hope that that we can all find this educational.
Certainly.
I hope you don't mind if we set up a bit of a scrying recording session.
Of course not.
Does everyone here consent to being filmed?
I have a thin film all over me.
How many of them? How many of the staff are with us currently?
4 people.
Are any of you capable of producing the Hold Monster spell?
That they all raise their hands. Or their wands,
Good.
I should say.
If you wouldn't mind, one at a time throughout the ceremony, if it ever seems like this little hamster is getting away from me, please ensure that is the spell you use for the time being.
Absolutely.
And then Jha'rell, once
any other preparatory things we should take note of, as you can see that they're actually producing like notepads and things like that to like go through the process step by step.
Don't listen to it.
Noted. Okay, so the hamster is laid upon the altar and you begin the ceremony, and very similar to last time.
Yep.
It's a very similar scene that starts to play out. Nate is at this point, he was brought off to actually just be like detained somewhere, but like you could hear his cries at this point being like, no, you don't understand. We're all doomed. And the ritual continues. Outside, Boris, you get a message. Hey, so I am currently underground below the ley line in my father's offices or satellite office down here. I'm gonna try to make my way out to you. Where are you?
I'm assuming I'm at my seat by now?
Yes. The chaperones are with you.
Chaperone, right? I had like one.
Chaperone. Yes, you have one chaperone, I should say. Yes.
Okay. So Boris just thinks this instead of saying it out loud this time. Yeah. It's just like, I'm in the front row. I've been sent with a chaperone. I'm pretty sure I can get rid of him very easily once you get here. I can't
have anybody recognizing me. I mean, I have like a little bit of a disguise on, but I think anyone who works for the tower is probably going to recognize me. You know who I am.
Yeah, okay. Get towards the front row, but just close enough that I can see you. I'll take care of it. Just go with me.
Okay, if someone catches me though, or if this goes sideways, just don't come after me, okay? Like I promise I won't do anything, but just like don't come after me. I don't want you guys getting in trouble. It seems like you have something really important to do.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully I'll see you soon. And it's back to just the crowd noise and everything like that. Back inside, the ritual continues. Again, similar scene, right? Like it's like all this, like the whistling intensifies, and it's almost like this, like it goes between whistling and guttural, like noises. And at some point, in your mind, Pregnart, you hear the voice of Balithor. You can't let them do this to me. You of strong-minded character. I need you to help me. You must stop this now. All I seek is to be free from this mortal coil. To the rest of you just hear frantic whistling.
What were my instructions for listening to Balithor again?
Just not to listen to him.
No. I mean like from Fran. What am I? How am I supposed to interpret this? Did you have any guidance for how I? What
he just says you need to stop them. That's it. That's all he said.
Okay. What are the configurations of bodies in the room?
There are 4 wizards here that are rotating between casting Hold Monster on Balithor / Mauricio / whatever you named him. And then the 4 of you. Mm-hmm. There appear to be some people from a distance, people who may have been working down here who can't help but hear the commotion of what's happening here as Jha'rell is essentially yelling, "The power of Vela compels you," and things of that nature. To he's starting to draw up a bit of an audience. Everyone seems to be quite taken with the very rare exorcism that they get to witness right now.
Pregnart goes over to Jha'rell and he sort of taps him.
Jha'rell, who is in the middle of performing the exorcism. Yeah, okay.
Right. Quinn, 0. I'm doing an exorcism right now.
Jha'rell, but my friend doesn't want to be doing this.
Yes.
I know
demons
I think we've
generally
been through
don't.
This.
Come on.
I think we've been through this before, but
come on.
I don't like this. I don't like what's happening. You're hurting Balithor.
Yes, we're hurting a demon. That's a thing we do. We've been paid to do this.
No, I think this is bad. It is my friend. He says, Pregnant, you are cool. Stop this now.
Yes, it's because he's lying to you. He's a demon.
Okay. You promise?
Yes, I feel very confident about this.
Do demons usually have a really cool voice? They say I'm really cool and nice, and I'm their friend?
Yes.
I mean, yes, I think that's part of their shtick, is they really do sound super cool.
Okay, I trust you.
Pregnard resumes a blank stare.
Okay. The ritual continues. Outside.
He's not wrong. Demons do sound super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they sound like this. I'm really cool guy Bellathor.
I'll never get over that. Pregnard doing an impression of a demon voice. Like, there's something
It
about...
is really fun.
Yeah, there's something
so much
about,
fun
like,
doing
doing a character's voice that's doing an impression of something else. There's just something so... just like... I love it. Anyways, outside. Boris. A little time has passed now. Because, I mean, this ritual takes about an hour, I think. Right, Jha'rell?
Yep.
Okay.
Full hour.
About a half hour goes by since the last message you got from Filbert.
Mm-hmm.
And you see walking up to you in like these like flowing like pink and purple robes, wearing a wig that you can definitely tell is a little off, but at least passable. And like wearing these gigantic framed glasses, a ton of makeup with a completely shaved face, is Filbert dressed as a girl, and comes up and sits next to you and says, "Hey, thanks for waiting."
Boris.
In the highest voice he could possibly attempt.
Boris screams, "Phyllis!" and gives him a huge hug.
Yes, yeah, it's me, your friend Phyllis. Are you ready to watch the show? I'm so excited. And he just like, but you can see the terror in his eyes as he's like really having a hard time maintaining this character and like looking up at the chaperone who is still very much with you.
What does the chaperone look like?
They look like probably like an older student, probably something like one of the like in the advanced classes, probably like in their 20s, like someone who's sort of like almost like a TA, you know what I mean, of a kind, like they're like just they're volunteering, or maybe they're required to do certain work like this as part of their educational program here. But they're a younger male. It looks like they got like slightly pointy ears, maybe half elf.
Correct. Okay. Boris immediately turns to Phyllis Filbert and says, "Do you have a tampon?" Definitely loud enough for my person.
Oh my God. You know what? Let's just assume that those kinds of things exist in this world, because I like that. Because I think that's just something that we can all understand as far as something that would make a 22-year-old dude who's just doing this for class credit uncomfortable.
Yeah, basically babysitting a 14-year-old right now. Yeah.
Right. That sounds like a lady problem that you how about I could show you where the public facilities are, and you can just, do the things that you need to do. Oh my God.
Where they are, right?
I'm literally required to like escort you since you are both minors, and I really, really need this extra credit.
Okay, we need to move really quickly because this is
let's go. It's right over. Please come with me. And he frantically starts leading you towards the public facilities.
Perfect.
And and they're very well designed. Like I said, there's running water in this city. There's aqueducts that surround and separate the inner ring from the outer ring, and I deliver water to all the different wards and districts and whatnot. So like these public facilities are quite nice and well taken care of, especially here, in the Tower campus. But yeah, so now you and Phyllis are together in the ladies' room, and he's like, "I am so uncomfortable right now. I should not be in here."
What's the layout of the bathroom?
There's just several private stalls, a lot of different basins where there's just water constantly flowing and running through. There's towels hung up, and they seem to as people are filtering in and out, as they're wiping their hands clean, you can see that the towels immediately go back to just being completely dry, instantaneously.
Is there only one way in and one way out?
Correct. I mean, there are some privacy windows for set up towards the tops of the walls, mostly for ventilation, though. The openings that they actually have would be too small for anyone to crawl out of.
Okay. But there are people flowing in and out.
Yes, this is, because there's a bunch of people gathered here, so it makes sense that, as people are waiting or, just conversing or whatnot, that people would be making trips back and forth to, the facilities here.
Okay, so I grab Phyllis Filbert and by the hand and just use a group of people as cover for us to try to get out the door.
Yeah, I like that. Sort of like that. Yeah, blend in with the crowd, so to speak. Yeah, make me a stealth check. I'm making one for Filbert too.
21. Oh, the dice does not love me today.
Filbert got a 12. As you guys are going to exit the room, his wig gets caught on one of the towel racks or something like that, or it brushes against it, because you guys are trying to bump your way into some people, and it kind of gets moved off center. He's like, wait, we can't go out there. He just runs and ducks into a stall. Psst, hey.
Boris goes in and
I need a little help.
Opens the stall and slides in to help.
Yeah, I mean, this wig is all messed up. It's the hair's all frayed. You can see the pins that he stuck into it, the hairpins he had put the clip into his hair are all bent and broken, and he just he's looking all disheveled, and then you can see his hair his actual natural hair poking out from underneath it.
Boris is kind of looking for a second and then says, okay, I know this isn't your favorite, but just for a minute to get out of the bathroom, and then pulls open a pocket. Suggesting he jump into the pocket.
He just looks at the pocket and looks at you. Kind of just gives you the look he knows he has really no choice here, and jumps in. And that's what we're going to call this episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast.
Whoa.
Oh, shit's about to happen. There's a Hamstorcism happening. The convergence is about to happen. Filbert's in disguise. Oh my, I think the next episode is going to be pretty intense. And, this was paced in such a way that, look, now Hendrik's going to be able to be a part of it too. It's going to be just a glorious, glorious time. So we encourage you to stay tuned. But until then, if you like us, you can find us on the internet. We're on such places as Twitter and Instagram. Just look for us at Hapless Heroes. We're also on Facebook, Reddit. Just look for Hapless Heroes Podcast. Those places will have information. Even our show notes has information to really join us where we do the majority of our socializing with our wonderful audience, and that is our Discord server. It is a great place to meet and interact with us, have all different types of discussions, whether it be related to D&D. We've been helping so many people who are just dipping their toes into playing this wonderful game that we love, and providing some advice of our own experiences. It's somewhere where we all of us like-minded folk can just kind of talk about the things that we love and just share cool stuff that's going on, and also sometimes food crimes that I get very upset about. Jake,
it's really fun there. I don't know if anybody is I don't know how many of our listeners are actually well versed in Discord, but we have a new person in there seemingly weekly, and
it's pretty cool. Yeah, I have to say
it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun place.
I like seeing all the new voices. It's
really great. If you like our podcast and you've been holding back on joining Discord, or don't know what it is, just look it up. It's a chat platform, and it's really fun.
It's great. It's super cool. We really encourage you to join our awesome and burgeoning community. It's great. But if you really, really like us, you could leave us a 5-star review or rating on the podcast service of your choice. You know the drill. I've said it a million times, but it really does help us get in front of more people and bring more people just like you, wonderful people like you, to listen to this little thing that we've been doing for the last 6 years that we're all pretty freaking proud of. And, if you say some nice things about us, we'll say some nice things right back about you on the air. And if your podcast service doesn't allow you to do reviews, we also made a channel in that Discord server we were just talking about where you can leave some kind comments for us, and we'll read them aloud and tell you how awesome you are for taking the time out of your day to say some nice things about us. But if you really, really like us, sorry, I did 3. If you really, really, really like us, you could donate to our Patreon, which is just patreon.com/haplessheroes. We have a whole bunch of different rewards on there, and all that money that gets donated just comes right back into making this show and making it happen for you. It's our little passion project, and we've appreciated all the support we've gotten over the years. It's truly humbling and remarkable that so many of you feel that we're worth your hard-earned dollars to just listen to every week. Like, I certainly want to listen to my own voice several times a week, but we press on. But so thank you to all of our current and future and past donors. Seriously, y'all have been the wind in our sails this whole time, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you.
And if you like us right now, you like us, Sally Field, and the whole deal. Make 50 pounds of garlic bread and bring it to the nearest Bed Bath & Beyond, and go in and say, "Hey, your delivery of garlic bread is here. It's time to sell garlic bread in Bed Bath & Beyond today." And become very indignant when they try to kick you out, and when the police come, tell them to listen to Hapless Heroes Podcast, an original D&D campaign.
And there you go. I mean, what else can you say? So there is really nothing left for me to do besides outro my wonderful cast for you. Starting on my virtual right, we have John playing Lord Jha'rell the Light.
Until next time.
Zach as Pregnart.
It's me. Goodbye.
Nicole is Boris the Butcher.
Oh, now I can just go out the privacy window like a proper assassin.
Mike is Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
Always at my service.
And Dave is Zero, Valen's Avatar of War.
If it turns out that Demon was telling the truth, I'm gonna look like a huge ass.
And I'm Francesco. I've been your host and DM. Tune in next week where things are gonna get crazy.
Oh, shit.
Bye-bye now.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Here, we're going crazy. We're going stupid.